Aisha Huang, you, convener of the media coalition together with Occupy Ghana, initially when the charges were pressed, you were not enthused, and so you issued statements and, implored the Attorney General to make sure that they had a watertight case. Speedily, the prosecution has come to a close, and Aisha Huang has to face her fate. 4.5 years in Ghanaian jail. That should be good. That should help in the fight, shouldn't it?
Well, thank you very much, Samson, and thank you. Let me just say that I believe that the conversation on this lithium, it's good. But again, I would just urge all of us to be mindful of the language we use. We should do it in such a way that the deal definitely looks better than what we've done. But I completely agree that we are over 60 years. So those of us who are commenting questions, let's do it with the humility that we might not know everything. Those who are also have checked the deal, let's also have the same humility and realize the fact that all we need to do is to try and get better for ourselves. And there might be some major changes that would have to happen, and we as citizens would have to be part of it. We might have to sacrifice and get our skin into the game. So that's the only thing I want to say. And then let me quickly move on to Aisha Huang. Right. I am happy. There are a few things I'm happy with. The judge, right from the point when she took this particular case, she's demonstrated what it means to be a Ghanaian and to be a professional. Aisha Huang, a security risk. She ensured that she was not granted bail. Then we've seen how speedily the case is run. And then there has been some conviction. The only challenge for me, and happily now the Attorney General is going to appeal it. And not being a lawyer, I was a bit confused and a bit that, 4.5 years for the damage that Aisha Huang has done to us. And then also of the fact that, the Act 995 stipulated heavier sanction, but then the argument was that it was done when the old regime was in place. But so I'm happy that we're going to be able to test it. But people like the former senior minister and co, need to come. They owe us some apologies. The challenge with the fight against illegal mining was when the former Attorney General filed an Oli Prosequa, and when he also came and made that. Aisha Huang has been prosecuted. China has not come down on us, and I'm hoping that the Attorney General would go to court and be able to exact the maximum 25-year jail sentence and the maximum fine that would be imposed on her, so that the people of Bipotinting and all of that, whose lands have been desecrated, we would begin to restore those lands. But most importantly, it would also serve warning to the people like Akonta Mines, who the minister pointed out, and my brother, Nana, in the studio, also pointed that he was mining illegally in the town of Nimre Forest Reserve. The likes of Heritage Imperial, who were giving, who had prospecting licenses and had excavators in forest reserves and were mining, and other people like that. To tell them that the dawn has now come, that they're the influential ones who are behind galamsey, when they are caught with the power of the citizenry who are serving, we will bring enough pressure to bear, and that they will face the law. So we'll start beginning to see a rollback of this social, ecological suicide that we have embarked upon.
The president, when the law was being amended, was very clear that the old law regime was not helpful, and therefore we needed to sort of circumscribe what a judge will do. So there are many lawyers who say what the Attorney General is seeking to do now is almost an impossibility. But, well, judicial precedents, they can be created. That a foreigner, by the new law, if you are found guilty of galamsey activities, you should be going to jail for 20 to 25 years. It's a difficult one to get. There are those who also say 4 years, 4.5 is enough punishment. Why do you want the person to go in for 20, 25 years? What do you gain by that?
Well, Samson, you see, when you have an activity that destroys the very foundation of your society, and you now have situations where you have children who are being born with their hearts at the right side, they have eyes in different parts of their body. You have the situations where even your cocoa that has been the most sustainable source of income for you as a country is now under threat. And then you have the situation where you are being told that water, you very soon be importing water. A situation where this particular act that you're doing, that Aisha Huang has been involved in, could result in could result in wars with your neighbor because your activities are polluting the waters in Côte d'Ivoire. It should tell you that this is existential. So the same way that when somebody commits treason, you exact the maximum sanction, that is what you need to do. Two things that it will do. The fact that the person who has done it needs to pay for her actions. And something to bear in mind, it is not only the 20 to 25 years. Act 955 also increases the fine.
That's right.
That has to be done. And the cost of restoration of the water bodies and the land that have been destroyed. And then it also has to signal to all of us that this is not something that if you do, you will come back and join us again. It's the reason why we need to ensure that Aisha Huang gets the maximum sentence that more than the 5 years.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Ken Ashigbe. And now the 4 minutes that we have, let me give to my guests in the studio to have their views on this. So in the new law, she's a foreigner and caught in galamsey, she would have been paying between 360,000 to 3.6 million. 3.6 million, or she would have gone to jail for minimum 20 and maximum 25 years. The old law, the 2015 law, unlike the 2019 law, she's paying 48,000 Ghana cedis, and that one also said that you go to prison for not more than 5 years. Yes, Dr. Koradonko.
Yeah, society is, both society and law are incremental. In 2015, the level of galamsey and the damage of galamsey is not what it is today. And therefore, it is only right that, having seen the increasing level of galamsey and destruction of galamsey, we review our laws. And that's why society is dynamic. What I wonder is that what's happened to Ghanaian political bigwigs who have provenly been involved in galamsey? What are we doing? And what has also happened to their accomplices? She didn't do this alone. She had accomplices, either in officialdom or the boys on the streets. What's happened to them? So we should not be seen to be only targeting foreigners.
Okay.
We should deal with all those who were involved in that crime. If we do that, no country can come and say, why are you jailing our citizen? Because your citizen was part of a syndicate.
All right.
I think that is where, by the way, what has happened to the fight against galamsey?
Interesting question. Yes. In a minute, what would you say?
It's ongoing.
This is good? This is good?
Well, it's on, let me say this, it's ongoing. Let me also re-echo what my minister has been saying all the time, that if he says he can look into the eyes of 30 million Ghanaians and say it's been satisfactory, that's far from the truth. But it's still ongoing. Just, is it 2-3 days ago, some 6 additional Chinese were arrested again. But something, I have a quick comment on this galamsey thing. Well, I still insist the ban on concentrate It's not a case in lithium. So go and I want you to do that research yourself. So it's not a case. Concentrate was excluded. But then on the galamsey fight, something. How are the Chinese coming into the country? You know, I'm a chief in my village. You can't bring an excavator without me knowing. I don't need to be in Rara. I'll be told. So was it last week that a chief was reported? You know, it was reported that a chief was involved in galamsey. Why is nobody? People are not talking about that. And then my favorite example, galamsey taking place behind a police station. And you know, that bridge there, yes, which the district officer of Minerals Commission keeps reporting. How about that? So yes, we should be putting the foreigners in jail. I will not comment on the sentencing because I have not read. As a lawyer, I will not make that mistake. Let's leave it to the Attorney General.
The judge had no option because she was prosecuted for offences committed within the time when the 2015 law was in force, not after the 2019 law came.
Yeah, so that's how.
And by our law, you cannot punish with the new.
Yeah, I know that. We learned that in law school. So
right.
I wonder how the appeal will go. But then the president insisted that, look, let's make it tough.
Okay.
So that's how we have the new one. So that is that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Our time is up. I'm Samson Ladia Yenini, and this has been Newsfile. We'll come your way next week with another interesting edition. And I hope to have a take on an interesting development. We're right. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon. My outfit, as always, is by Habil Scruter. You can find them at Jiringano Gate, East Legon.